Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band. Is Boogeyman band.
Greetings, my fellow Frag Fiends, and thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone channel. I hope everyone's doing well. So this is a very kind of impromptu video. This is something where I'm doing this very off the cuff, and it has to do with the Saw franchise and Saw 10, which is going to be coming out on the 29th of this month, which I'm really excited for. There was a little poll or whatever you want to call it on Instagram, and I have a friend or someone I follow on Instagram named Scary Cat, and she posted this little image, and it had Michael Myers, Billy from Saw, Jason from Friday the 13th, and Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street, and it says you have to lose one of these. It was like you can pick three, but one of them has to go. And I put Nightmare on Elm Street as the one that I would get rid of. So I would keep Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Saw. And she was really shocked by that. And I just had to say, you know, as much as I love the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and grew up with it and was a huge Freddy fan as a kid, over time I don't revisit that franchise. Surprises people when I say that Saw is one of my favorite horror franchises. In fact, it's in my top 5. Just after Friday the 13th, Psycho, and Halloween. I have all the films. I've seen every one of them in the movie theater. Spiral, of course, was the last one that came out, which was kind of like a different take on the franchise, was trying to do something different by including, you know, Chris Rock, who had a hand in making it. This one is going back to... the new one is almost going back to the groundwork that was set with the original. It takes place in between Saw and Saw 2, bringing Tobin Bell back, who was sorely missing from Spiral. I don't know what it is about the Saw franchise, but I think it gets a really bad rap. I think it is, to me, growing up in the 80s, and having, you know, Friday the 13th, you had a new Friday the 13th and a new Nightmare on Elm Street every year. And that was so fun as a kid because you always, you know, there might have been like a gap every so often, but for the most part, you got a new Friday the 13th. I mean, there was 8 Friday the 13ths released between 1980 and 1989. So you pretty much had a new film almost every year. Same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street. It was so much fun just knowing that you had another horror film with your favorite horror character to look forward to, and that's what the Saw films meant to me. I mean, you know, from 2004 until 2010, we had a new Saw film every year, and it was this Halloween event where they always opened at Halloween time. The Saw films, you know, there's a very human quality to what is motivating the character of John Kramer to do what he's doing, and I just love that, and that they are finding a way to bring the character of John Kramer back, because Tobin Bell is an icon. I've always loved that actor. I remember seeing him for the first time. I think the first couple movies I can remember seeing him in were The Firm and In the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood. Those both came out the same year. He had very small parts in both, but I don't know why. There was just something about his intensity that really got to me, and I've always been a fan of him. And I spotted him. I remember watching Saw for the first time. I still remember my experience seeing Saw for the first time. I remember there was somebody in the front row right in front of me with their cell phone, and they kept flipping their phone on, and the light was just blinding me. I just, you know, I wanted to just watch the movie, but it was pissing me off that was happening. But the scene where you see Dr. Gordon going over the x-rays and you see Tobin Bell laying in the bed, and the character of Zepp said his name is John. I'm like, I know that actor. That's weird that he's just doing this one small little piece right here. And then the ending of Saw, which I still think is one of the greatest horror movie endings, a complete shocker. Nobody expected that ending to be the way that it was. But Saw 2, the original, and Saw 6 are my favorites. I'm really looking forward to Saw 10. And like I said, this franchise to me harkens back to my love of, you know, a yearly horror film with my favorite horror characters coming out. That's what the 80s was like, and that's the decade that so many people go back to and say, you know, that was the heyday of horror. That's when we got so many great slasher films and stuff like that. And I feel like the same people kind of downgrade, you know, these films. And a lot of work goes into these films, and I believe you know, the people that have been making them, the same people have been making them pretty much consistently. Even if they're not directing it, they're still producing them, and I think that's great. And I really think that, you know, a lot of people here in the YouTube space that are doing movie reviews, I really don't like the negativity, and it comes from horror fans too, or people that say they're horror fans, reviewing these films or talking about these films, or just, you know, downing them and not really looking at, I think, some really good storytelling techniques that have kind of been interwoven throughout the entire franchise. That's why I love them. I just have so much fun watching them. I love, you know, sort of trying to figure out the mystery at the end. I felt like Spiral was a little more predictable than any of the other ones, but I did love Darren Lynn Bousman coming back. I love Chris Rock's involvement. The only thing about Spiral that was kind of lacking for me was I didn't really care for the new antagonist. I didn't really care for like the new voice that was on the recordings. That was kind of, you know, the element of Jigsaw and Billy the puppet, and those things were missing from Spiral, but I still really love the film. It has a special place in my heart because it was the first movie that got me back into the movie theaters after a really long dry spell with all the theaters being shut down around me. And this was really not planned. I just wanted to throw the camera on and talk about this. But so let me know what you guys think. Thanks so much again for watching the Horror Zone channel. I really appreciate everybody's support, and I will talk to you again real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Fright Fiends, just want to say thank you again for supporting Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. If you're brand new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification so you're updated every time I drop a new video. I typically do this once or twice a week with new content. I've been doing this for over 11 years, and the horror genre is a passion of mine, and it really means a lot to me that I can share that passion with all of you guys. Thanks so much again for the support, and I'll talk to you again later. Take it easy, stay scared as always.